No one can hold Black women accountable. Black women, unfortunately, we have adopted this mentality that I can do whatever I want to do and can't nobody tell me anything. And this is why we are where we're at.
A lot of people say, hey, the women need to hold women accountable. I'm going to be honest, man. These women will tear the skin off of one of these women that try and hold them accountable.
I've been through this, so don't do this. It's like, just because your finger burned when you touched the pot don't mean mine will. And sometimes you need to experience before you can really be adaptive to it. You can't just take somebody's word.
You got burn-proof fingers?
I'm just saying.
Rebellious spirit.
We are not put here to live someone else's life. We're not put here to live somebody else's journey. We're not here to grow our mother's garden. We learn from experience. I'm responsible for me. She's responsible for her. Everybody responsible for themselves.
Yeah, our community. This is why I be like, our community be in trouble because we got motherfuckers that be thinking like, well, what's your thoughts on this? Who is responsible for holding Black women accountable? Because clearly they could do whatever the fuck they want. So I'm just a girl. Can you explain this? Because your whole platform is about holding Black women accountable, and you have gotten a lot of pushback, specifically from Black women who have tried to, out you. They done try to Google your man and find out his social security number, leak it online and shit like that. So again, when a lot of the criticism is that when men have a platform and they talk about women say it's not a man's job or responsibility to hold Black women accountable. Black women need to hold women accountable. Clearly, that's not a thing. So, what's your thoughts on this topic?
Honestly, like you said, it's no one. No one can hold Black women accountable because it's all really BS when we say it's very cliche to say, let Black women hold us accountable. Black women mind your business. But we can't. Black women, unfortunately, we have adopted this mentality that I can do whatever I want to do and can't nobody tell me anything. And this is why we are where we're at. So when we try to have these conversations and try to hold each other accountable, you do get it out of that. Well, it's not my job. It's not your job. Mind your business. And I think we live in a very selfish, egotistical society now that nobody cares.
I will say this. A lot of people say, hey, the women need to hold women accountable. I'm going to be honest, man. These women will tear the skin off of one of these women that try and hold them accountable. They will beat the black off of their for telling them that they're doing something wrong. The bad ones are like wild hyenas out there. So for the good ones who try and say something, they're gonna get shredded for sure. But that's sad that this woman can't really be I guess you could say maybe a femininity coach or just more of an advocate for the Black community. She can't do that properly because she's gonna have so much pushback that women gonna try and tear her to shreds.
We don't care. I care about my sister, but her friend, I don't care about her but I can see her going downhill, about to get hit by a bus. Well, it ain't my business, right? So I think if you're a Black woman and the whole Black women accountable, you have to be ready to fight because it's going to come.
Scrap.
It's going to come with a lot, just to say, sis, I don't want to see you out here doing that. And anybody who knows my platform, I'm always thinking about how young girls are being influenced. So what us grown women are doing, it's influencing these girls to do these out of control, I don't care attitudes. They have the most disgusting attitudes and you can't even check them because they have their moms who say I could do whatever I want. So
This is a generational thing. It was sent downstream from, I would say, probably maybe 2 generations before. Once feminism started, it passed down to those children into when those women were more independent.
No one holds us accountable. No, not a Black man, a white man. Your white boss probably. That's probably the only one who can tell us what to do because they pay us. A gay man can tell us what to do. That's kind of, it still revolves around if it's a Black woman or a Black man, a straight Black man, we don't want to hear it. And it's unfortunate. We are really in a place where we don't even realize how bad off we are. We don't even, a woman who has it all figured out. And I'm saying, sis, I can help you. And you say, I don't need your help. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
That's scary.
But I'm watching you do the same thing over and over and over and over again. And it's not working.
Well, even on the male perspective, I have family members who they look at me as slightly corny because I do the right thing. I go to work, I focus on investments, I got side hustles here and there, and they'll look at me as like, that's lame. Me taking care of my family, me doing what I'm supposed to be doing, that's lame. So I understand exactly where the sister is coming from on the woman's side, and I see it on the men's side. A lot of guys don't want to be held accountable as well, but with women, it's even worse.
So instead of saying, you know what, sis, you're right. Let me take heed to this. I'm going to fight because can't nobody tell me nothing.
So
cooking.
Let me start here with this question. Who do you think can hold Black women accountable?
Are we talking to Biotic now? I don't have an opinion on that. I feel like to each is his own. Maybe their community, I don't know. Maybe their friends, their mom, whoever their support system is, that's who can hold them accountable. So
I just want to premise this. I'm sorry for pausing a lot. Her shirt says HIV positive. I just want to state that. We're just going to continue.
So that's my intake on that.
Okay. What's your thoughts?
I would say due to experience, it will probably be a village. I feel like people take heed to certain people, certain mentorships, and can be very adaptive depending on like their nurturing, their background, like what they've been exposed to. So I do believe that it's hard to hold Black women accountable for certain things. But I do kind of agree with the to each. I agree with both of you, honestly. It's a to each his own. Because I've had experience with my mom, even with her giving me feedback and from her experience. And I feel like a lot of times they try to implode or tell you what they've been through and try to place it on you. Like, I've been through this, so don't do this. It's like, just because your finger burned when you touch the pot, don't mean mine's will. So I feel like a lot of people.
That's the first line of disrespect. That's the first line of I'm not gonna listen to you. I want to do it. It might turn out different for me. I'm trying to teach you something because I went through it already. I'm telling you this is what's probably gonna happen. That's usually the first line of a disagreement.
People, they want to try it. It's like a trial and error in life, and sometimes you need to experience before you can really be adaptive to it. You can't just take somebody's word.
You got burn-proof fingers?
I'm just saying, you never know. But sometimes you need to experience what somebody is trying to recommend rather than just taking their recommendation and running with it. So let me feel the burn, and then I'm like, all right, you was right. Let's move forward. Rather than me actually saying, like, she said it's hot. It don't really look that hot, but I'm going to just run with it. So I think it's a trial and error type thing.
Rebellious spirit.
I'm using the pot as an example.
No, I got you.
Yes.
What's your thoughts?
I believe we're all responsible for ourselves.
I'm sorry, y'all.
We are not put here to live someone else's life. We're not put here to live somebody else's journey. We're not here to grow our mother's garden. We learn from experience, and we are responsible for ourselves. Like, you can't blame somebody else for what you do. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that we are accountable for our actions. We live and we learn. Like, sometimes we make wrong decisions, but it's us who have to pay for it, not somebody else. So we are responsible for us and our actions. Women, Black women, whoever it is, I am responsible for myself. She responsible for herself. She responsible for herself. She responsible for herself. So if how she thinks, she gotta be responsible for what comes with that.
Let me correct her real quick before she continues to talk. That's not how you propagate a society, a village, a community. When you have a tribe or you have a village, everybody works in unison. So if your child doing something effed up, the next neighbor is going to correct that child as well because they don't want that spreading to their child. See, families back in the day, they stuck together. You know, your neighbor could discipline your child. The aunts, extended kin could extend your family to correct them from doing stupid stuff. But what she's saying, oh, you got to be responsible for your own actions. Well, you must not going to be a part of an actual legit community or family or village because we got to hold you accountable.
That's for her. That's not for me because I don't feel that way. So I'm responsible for me. She responsible for her. Everybody responsible for themselves.
Yeah, our community. This is why I be like, our community be in trouble because we got folks that be thinking like, well, what's your thoughts on this? Like, it was crazy.
I would say that I think that is a detriment, first of all, because
it is.
We should be, if we want to build community around our neighbors, I should be able to tell you something, you should be able to hear it, and vice versa. Exactly. And as a father to a young girl and boys, what I do is going to affect their lives. So if we sit here and say that we are only useful for ourselves or we're responsible for what we do for ourselves, I can't sit here and agree. I'm going to be responsible for my sister walking up and down the street, my homegirls, my mama, cousins, nieces, and that just don't stop. And whatever they do is wrong, I'm gonna let them know, and I want them to do the same thing for me because that's how we build community.
That's okay. When someone says that, you ask who's responsible for, what was the question?
Who is responsible for holding Black women?
I'm with a Black woman. I have a Black woman. I have a Black mother. I have a Black auntie. I'm naming multiple Black women I'm responsible for.
That's fine.
And I will hold them accountable.
That's okay.
And the same thing.
It's okay to give advice, and it's okay to
I'm gonna check auntie and I'm gonna check uncle if they tripping at the cookout.
It's not limited. You ask who's responsible for Black women's
I am.
ideas on what did you ask? Your question?
Who's responsible for holding Black women accountable?
Yes, that's all you asked.
I
It's
am.
not saying. It's not.
I am.
No, that's not. Okay, but I'm just saying it's not limited to that.
Why not?
I'm saying that it's not
Rebellious.
just limited. Me saying that we're responsible for ourselves does not mean that's it. Like, doesn't mean that I can't give advice to somebody else. I'm saying that my choices, I'm responsible for what the choices that I make. I'm not saying that I won't give advice to somebody that I'm seeing going the wrong way. Of course not. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. I'm answering your one question. It doesn't limit me to that in every aspect. There's other aspects of that.
But you ain't saying
Because I don't have to. Because you asked me one question. You say, am I responsible for my aunties and for young women? Of course.
They not Black women?
Of course. But I'm responsible for my actions as a person. I'm not living anybody else's life.
Yeah, but the people around you are still responsible for your actions as well, especially if they help participate in raising you and nurturing you. Of course, they're responsible as well. It just is what it is. If you embarrass yourself, you're going to embarrass your family as well. But what I wanted to say prior to that, I'm gonna be honest, man, feeding a lot of these men or women this information, it's almost like when oil and water don't mix. You can just see inside the information, just the rejection, to where it comes inside, but then it just slowly pours back out because they just can't grasp the concept. They don't want to understand it. They don't want to retain it because it sounds like you're being too controlling.
I see somebody going the wrong way, of course I'm going to help them. Like, one question does not apply to the whole thing.
He didn't ask you who's responsible
You don't gotta-
for holding you accountable. He said who's responsible for holding Black women.
Me,
Yeah.
I am responsible for holding myself as a Black woman.
You talking about
We're not doing
yourself.
law.
We not talking about
Bro,
you.
how can I, my love, you're not responsible for her or him or this person. Like, you ask who's responsible for holding a Black woman accountable. I
Not
can't.
a Black woman.
See,
Black
He said Black
women.
women.
She
It's
don't
just
understand
Okay.
the
It's a
macro.
general.
You, me,
That's not-
I'm
you
responsible
talk
for
about
holding
yourself.
myself. Yeah, because, oh my God, God bless.
Micro and
God
macro,
bless.
y'all. She don't
Because like
understand.
I can't control other people. If I see somebody
Nobody-
and I want to give advice and I see them going the wrong way or I see a better way for them,
Mhm.
of course I'm gonna offer that to them.
Right.
But I'm not responsible for their decisions. They're on their own journey.
That's
God
not,
didn't
that's
put
not
me
the
here
question
for
ask
them.
you. If you're responsible for their actions.
He asked me the question that he asked
accountability.
me that
If
I
you say you seen
answered,
something,
but it's
if you
not
say you seen
limited. This is what I'm saying. It's not limited. My answer,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean like what he's saying. Oh, I'm responsible for my auntie and my mother and my sisters. So am I. But just because I say that I'm responsible for myself, yes, because I'm responsible for my actions. But that doesn't limit me to say that I'm selfish and I don't care about my community. That's not that. Like, we don't need to attack each other for just answering one question.
Nobody's
She
attacking you.
don't-
I'm
she
trying to
don't
explain
I'm
the
just
question
saying
to
that I didn't say that. I'm saying we don't need to. Just because I'm answering the question specifically that was asked. Like, it doesn't make, just because I say yes to this doesn't mean there's a no to everything else.
That's why if you was in a household with this woman, this would be a problem. This is the headache that a lot of guys talk about. If I say something, you got 1,000 different pushbacks against what I'm trying to say. We can't come to a compromise. You want to be right. I gotta understand your way. You can't see it. This is a headache.
All right, so
Say it.
All right.
what's your thoughts on
He
this?
gave up. He gave up.
Real silly.
Women versus men all the time. Like,
There's nobody. I'm trying to explain the question to you. You
I
clearly
hear
ain't
you.
understand
I
the
hear
question.
you. And all right, clearly I didn't. So
Can
you
I
explained
elaborate
it.
on this? I think that this is an issue that we have that we as women can't speak in general. We always make it about like us, right? So when we talk about, it could be anything. Like, what do you think about cars? Well, I don't like cars. It's like, well, in general though, like, let's talk about cars in general, not like your car doesn't work right or this. So when we try to talk about as a whole, it still goes back to like me, what I can't do. If we talk about, again, as a whole, how do we hold us accountable?
Right.
How do we do better as a whole? Because what one of us does, it affects us all. I don't know why we don't want to, like, we get like that doesn't exist. Like, we are
That's
viewed,
true.
I don't care me being married or not married, white people see us all the same. It doesn't change. Like, we get lumped in one group. We can't say, well, I don't qualify, I'm over here.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they see us all. And if we keep
Facts.
painting this narrative as one and we live in this very much, I only hold me accountable. Yes, I'm accountable for my actions, but at the same time, I still want to hold my sister accountable and let her know, like, sis, that's not cool. Especially if you come to me and telling me. A lot of women don't even tell their friends that they wrong.
Right.
We'll sit there and be like, well, it ain't my fault. I mean, we'll let her tell the whole story, and you know she wrong, and you won't say anything. And a lot of women can't, or they won't, because they're afraid they'll get attacked. They'll get cursed out. They'll lose a friend over holding their friend accountable.
You've had women out there who've gone on trips and gotten killed for disagreements with women. Women are very nasty. Women can be very evil creatures sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. If you get around the wrong ones, bro, they will off you just like a dude could possibly off someone.
Right.
And that's kind of where we're at. We can't.
Yeah, I think just in general, why it's important to even have this conversation about holding people accountable is because when you don't hold people accountable, they tend to repeat the same mistakes that this is why we get that generational curse of want to be a baby mama instead of a wife, and because nobody's holding you accountable for your actions, you know what I mean? Now you prioritizing a baby mama life, whatever the case is. Just like on the show, a lot of times we have Black women who say they don't feel protected by Black men. I think as Black men, it's our responsibility to make sure we do a better job at making sure our women are feeling protected. Now, if I had that mentality, damn, you know what, that I'm responsible for myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? All Black women are speaking out to us. I can't think individually about something like that. You get what I'm saying? So whether they're not talking about me or whatever the case is, I still have to hold other Black men accountable when I see them not doing shit. These niggas hold me accountable all the time when I do some fucked up shit. Like, I'm not gonna be like, they're not gonna be like, well, that's him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's responsible for himself. So I think in order to get back to that community where we all can collectively hold each other without getting offended, without feeling like somebody's attacking us, you know what I mean? So let me get to this next topic.
I do want to ask you though, really quickly, since you do have such an open mind, and do you think that is another way that Black men should approach these type of scenarios?
What you mean, like as far as like trying to hold Black women accountable?
Yeah.
Is it?
I wish I could say that there was a different way that you can go about it. I just think we are in such a bad place. I don't think that there's really anything that you can do. Honestly, I don't think you could say it soft. You could say, sweetie, baby, and it would still be like, why you call me baby? Like it's still honest. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like we are this I don't care attitude, this very masculine, I could do what I want is so deep in us that I don't really know what Black men can say, because even just the thought of how the view of Black men already is like you can't win, because black women view Black men in such a negative way. So even when you try to say something nice, you're already going to be attacked because you're a Black man trying to.
Only thing you could probably do is try and get you one that is not tainted, not corrupted. You can try and find you the most feminine one who just got really good qualities, really good traits. That might be the unicorn. That's the only way. If you just try and get you one that's like still kind of more, in the world, boy, you're gonna have a time on your hand.
Say something.
And just real quick, what kind of like pushback have you been getting, with your platform? Like, what kind of things are you seeing on your end? Like, what kind of comments are you getting, or what kind of like, threats are you getting? Like,
yeah, I mean, the pushback is always mind your business. That's the go-to. Like, or why do you care? And it makes me realize like these people really don't care. And it's 99% Black women who, in my opinion, view me a certain way, I guess based on maybe how I look or my life, from what they believe to be something. But a lot of it is, again, mind your business. Why do you care? Let us do what we want to do. Like that. And that's like, are we serious? Or they, your husband's cheating. They just go with it could be anything. You could be talking about the sky being blue. They'll say, well, I hope your husband cheats on you. Or it could be anything. Anything, because you don't want to hear the truth. We can be talking about things that are really, really important. Like how we are, our health is not the best as Black women. We need to do better in that department so we could live longer for our children, for our grandchildren. And you'll get attacked for that. It's like you can't say anything to want the betterment of Black women. And again, I say this all the time. I'm always talking about how we are the role models for young girls. If you don't care about, if you don't care, then do your thing. Right. But it's always the ones who don't care that want me to not care. And it's like, I'm just not that person. I'm a school counselor, so I work with kids. It's no way I cannot care. It would be almost, hypocritical for me to do what I do and not care. Yeah. I'm seeing their mothers, I'm seeing their grandmothers. Their mothers are older than me and they're 17 years old. And, so it's a cycle. Yeah.
Wow.
Listen.
Yeah, I respect that 100%, man. Usually women that are in fields and dealing with children, they usually care a little bit more. All of them ain't the best, But for the ones that are in that field, they usually do care about kids. They care about their well-being. They want to see them do great. But back to the premise of this whole video, yeah, I think we might be too far removed, man, to help certain mentalities. Even when it comes to the men, I've been getting pushed back on a few of my panels to where a lot of guys don't agree with some of the things that I'm talking. Maybe I sound too square. I don't know, but yeah, man, I think a lot of mentalities just gonna have to be flushed out of society, possibly. Before things can probably get better. If you got so many people that's on the opposition, you really not gonna be able to change them. You can only surround yourself around people that's probably gonna think like you, a little bit more like-minded, people that's on the same path and purpose, trying to do the right thing. We all not perfect. I'm not perfect, and ain't nobody right here gonna be perfect. But at the same time, if we can kind of sit back and look and be able to have accountability and reflect and see where we mess up at and be able to say it out loud and try and fix it, I think that's a start. Let me know what y'all think about this video, y'all. Make sure y'all check out this whole thing in its entirety. I'll have a link in the description. Make sure y'all stay tuned on Saturday. I'm gonna have my live panel at 7:45-ish p.m. And this is JayBReacts, y'all. Y'all like the video, comment below. And until next time, y'all. Peace.